before we get into anything, this is my personal favourite game so far. The absolute biggest shout out that I could ever give to Patrick Beach, the goalkeeper, for pulling off the greatest save I've ever witnessed in the history of the game. Right, it's a lot of praise, but hello and welcome back to the Backseat Manager podcast. I am your host, John Luke, and here is with my special guest, Matt, once again.
Hello again.
Back again. The World Cup is here, finally underway. We've got 12 games having been completed. Well, almost 12. We've got another one kicking off in an hour. Sweden, Tunisia, but clearly we thought we'll get a little bit ahead of that. There's been a lot of action from groups A to F, and with all the hosts having their opening fixtures, you know, some of the results we sort of expected, some we didn't really. Some are a bit of a shock. I'm going to be honest. I was shocked by a couple of them. So we're going to have a look. We're going to go through them. But before we do that, there's a few things I want to talk about. First is the 3 different opening ceremonies. I want to get your thoughts on this, Matt, because I was a bit lost. I thought there was only one in Mexico, so I watched it. And I was like, okay, nice, blah, blah, blah. You know, you've got your acts, you've got whatever. And then the game kicks off. I'm like, cool. And then Canada had their own one, and then America had their own one. So is it just me that was completely confused by that, or is that just a general consensus?
Well, as somebody who didn't watch any of them, I believe that your confusion may be justified, because I also thought that I'd heard about the Mexican one. I knew Shakira was there to perform her song, and I thought that's the big opening ceremony. I did think, why is it just Mexico doing an opening ceremony? There's joint hosts. So that thought did cross my mind. But the fact that they were all going to do an open ceremony didn't actually, that didn't cross my mind. But I made sure to avoid them all anyway, because who wants to watch Katy Perry sing before a World Cup match?
I mean, do you think they're just a big waste of time, or do you think it's like a tradition thing that we once had and it was cool, but now it's just like all corporate and all just like it's just not really the same anymore?
You need an opening ceremony. Every World Cup has one. Every big event has one, and it's supposed to be a show of culture, a show of, you know, the country putting on their best. But you know, you don't need 3 of them. I know they're co-hosts, and to each of their own, they probably put on. I think the Mexican one was multiple artists that went on for quite a while, and I think the Canada and America ones were shorter, smaller events.
It just doesn't really show like world unity. When you've got 3 hosts that all do their own thing, it's not really giving the kind of message that FIFA want of like, yeah, this is the world's game, we're all united, blah blah blah. I mean, everyone's just doing their own thing.
Well, I suppose in, you know, an ideal world, they would have had a massive opening ceremony put together by the 3 nations at a neutral venue, and that would have been, you know, a day before the first game kicks off. You know, like the Olympics, it's at the main stadium. It's before any events start. But you know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, there's one big one in Mexico because it was the first game. Canada and America had, was it Michael Bublé?
Yeah,
Canada.
They had the boob.
And then America had Katy Perry and a few other acts, but
I mean, it was a way to do it. I mean, it was a way to signal it off. I mean, it started off. I mean, there's other changes that like I thought have happened with this. That like, I mean, realistically, the opening ceremony was the least of my concerns. I was just ready for the games to get kicked off. But then, you know, we get past the opening ceremony and we're talking about changes that have been made that we've not seen before. Every player standing on the centre circle instead of the traditional lineup with the two big flags either side. I quite like it. I think it's cool. I think I saw a thing. Del Piero is the one who suggested it because he was saying that every player who's earned their spot in the squad deserves the chance to like experience that from the pitch. Blah blah blah. I think it's because he was gutted that he wasn't there at one point. But I don't know. I think it's cool having like the big flags and then like they're all like facing each other. Like I actually like that format because I know there was a lot of stuff going into this that because the Americans were going to try and like Americanize the hell out of everything. There was going to be like at the Club World Cup, like individual player intros and just all this nonsense that we're just everyone sat at home going, please just don't do that. It's just a waste of everyone's time. But I mean, I quite like it. I quite like the like, it's a cool look. But I mean,
I like it.
I know you got some things about
No,
the national anthems though.
no, I like it. I mean, I like it. It doesn't take up too much time as opposed to normal, national anthem, same length. But it's just, I sort of think that it should be done for the first game. Every country's first game, everyone's on the pitch. You all now know what it's like to stand on the pitch at a World Cup, hearing the national anthem. But I don't think you need it for the rest of the matches. I think it would be a really nice one-off, and then we get, you sort of get back to normal. But to be honest, I think it does. I think it does actually do what it's supposed to. It gives players who might not even get on a chance to stand there, and I think that probably generates a bigger sense of national pride within the whole group, because that's the group you're trying to win the competition with. And if it can make all these players a bit more maybe patriotic, and I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. The individual ones would have been an absolute disaster, and I would have made a point to never watch them. But the collective one, I think, is a good idea.
No, I think lots of people share that sentiment of the individual ones because we saw it at the Club World Cup when like Cole Palmer's getting his own individual walkout song, and everyone's like, it's not like a boxing fight. It's just it took so long. I mean, realistically, unless you're a Chelsea fan, no one even watched the Club World Cup. But I saw like one game, and I was like, oh, okay, like this is how they're doing it, and it just sucked. It was just bad. And then they had all this talk from like Infantino, the like FIFA president, everyone going, oh yeah, we're going to change things up, and everyone's just there going, please, for the love of God, no. Just don't do it. Just don't. Whatever you do, don't do it. And they haven't. And they've actually come up with something that I think is pretty good. And I think we might see that at the next Euros and other like international games.
It probably will catch on.
Because I actually think it's quite a cool way of doing it. And honestly,
I think it will catch on.
It also just gets this like it's just an update. It makes things a bit more visual. It's nice. Like it's a cool thing. But some things that do tick me off with some new rules that they've introduced that we've already seen actually in a couple of games. Firstly, throw-ins. This 5-second throw-in nonsense, because that's what it is, nonsense, right? What do you mean if I pick up the ball, my team have just like won a throw-in, right, deep in the other half. I'm like, okay, I've picked up the ball, I want everyone to like get moving, get into some space, get somewhere I can throw it to them. Oh, but if I don't do it in 5 seconds, the ball goes to the opposition. What do you mean? It's so stupid. I get, like, it's supposed to scrap time wasting on the throw-in. But if we're adding on minutes at the end of the game anyway for time wasting, so why are we now punishing people? Why are we trying to, like, speed the game up on the throw-ins? It's going to get added on anyway. That's how you started seeing like the Qatar World Cup. You had like 12 minutes added on. We've already got 6 minutes minimum added on for the hydration breaks, which is we'll get to that in a minute. But like, what do you think? Because I just find it annoying. I just find it like it's just not necessary. They're making changes for the sake of changes, in my opinion.
It's a good thing to speed up the game. It's not particularly reffed by every referee the same, which I think is where the problem will lie. We did see yesterday if you do want to time waste at throwing, just don't pick the ball up. Because that's what Andy Robertson did yesterday. They had a throw-in, he didn't pick the ball up. You waste that bit of time, and the moment you pick it up, 5 seconds. But if you want to time waste, just don't pick the ball up. It's only when you have it in your hands, ready to throw it, the referee counts down from 5. So I think speeding the game up is perfectly fine. And we have had this problem in the Premier League where the ball's only in play for 60 minutes. And if you've got the ball out of play, and we've seen teams take the piss with goal kicks, throw-ins, corners, waiting about a minute to take them. So anything to speed the game up is fine. There are some changes, like if physio comes on when you're injured, you have to go off for a minute. I think is awful. Because that's to prevent people from faking injuries and really putting a consequence with it, but it just affects people who actually go down injured. So that's stupid.
I get that one though. That's one of those ones where I get it. I just don't like it because I get the whole thing of in like the medical sense. If someone goes down, they get a minute to get checked out on the sideline so that they're not like because like you know how we've got the whole concussion thing.
They get checked out. They get checked out. But if they're fine and they want to come back on, they have to wait. Now that's stupid. If you are hurt by an opposing player and have to go off and get checked, you shouldn't have to wait a minute on the sideline. Now, the reason this is the case is because we live in a very low trust society and footballers do take the piss out of the rules. So if we lived in a perfectly high trust, footballers were completely clean of conscience and just were fair, we wouldn't have this problem. But I just think it's a rule that is brought in for one reason, but ultimately negatively affects the people who are being fair. And I think that's the case with a lot of rules that they do bring in, where they try and fix one problem, but cause another.
I mean, it's typical that you can't really trust footballers when it comes to diving on the floor. Like, it's literally a sport that has a reputation for everyone being a bit of a pretty boy and just diving on the floor constantly. I mean, the whole meme of like grabbing your ankle and rolling about 50 feet is prime example of that, really, isn't it?
No, it's the holding your face.
The holding your face when it hasn't you haven't been touched remotely near your head.
Nothing annoys me more than when a player holds his face and he's been glanced, or his face has been stroked, his beard's been stroked, and he holds his face. Even when his shoulder's been hit. You know, someone hits his shoulder and he goes, "I'm holding his face. What are you doing?" You know, that should be. I think if you go down holding your face when your face hasn't been touched, that's a yellow card. Now, scrap this whole minute off the pitch. If players fake an injury like this, yellow card, no questions, and then this has to be the thing they stop next. They're holding the face. They have to find a way to stop it because it is the worst case of footballers trying to con referees.
I mean, they'll figure it out eventually, but I mean, they're gonna just keep adding in more rulings, more whatever. This is the only way they can do it, though, isn't it? They keep making little alterations that essentially screw you over for trying to do stuff like that. But I mean, realistically, even with like the throw-in thing, for example, and the new throw-in rule, it has been less than 12 games. Not every team has already played in the tournament yet, and they've already found the loophole of just don't pick up the ball. So the thing is, like, we've already you'll see that like no matter what rule they try and implement, the players will figure out like the letter of the law and will work through it. But I mean, I don't know. I can understand them trying to make changes for the betterment of the game. I just feel like sometimes it is a little bit lost in, or it's just not necessary. I feel like sometimes they try and overly police things. Just you know, if it's not necessary.
They do overly police things. It's the when a corner comes in and the referee reminds everybody, no holding, no, just don't tell them. And if they hold, just tell them once. The first time, just tell them once, or tell everyone at the start of the game, if you hold someone from a corner, I'll give a penalty or a free kick. And if they do it, give the respective action. Don't tell them at every single corner. Don't give them that chance. That's over policing everything. Just if someone's going to hold on to a player's shirt from a corner, just let it happen and then give a penalty.
And we're forgetting that these are grown ass men who know the rules of the game that they've all been playing since they were about 3. So if
you were told that you have a camera on you 24/7 or for 90 minutes while you do your job for say, and you let's say your job says, oh, we've had some missing printer ink, do you know where it's gone? And you say, no, I have no idea, knowing there's a camera on you. It's just, why would you lie? Why would you try and con these people when they're going to find out? Players who protest, players who give penalties away and protest. Or when players, if you tackled someone, if you fouled them, if there's contact with the ball, if you've done something against the rules, and there's a camera on you.
This is the thing, it doesn't make sense, but then I guess...
Which should be the talk. They should have that talk at every corner. They should have to talk with themselves. They shouldn't need the referee. They should say, there's a camera on me. I'm not going to hold this man any longer than I should do.
But speaking of cameras and things that... The last change that this World Cup has brought, which does fuck me off, frankly, and that's the only way I can put this, the hydration breaks. And now, I get it, it's hot. If they were doing it for the actual benefit of the players, I would be all for it. I'd be like, look, it's hot. I wouldn't want to run around in 40-degree heat for 90 minutes or for 45 minutes alone with no water. I get it. But we all know, everybody watching knows, and it was proven in the opening fixture as well, the hydration breaks are just a sham for Americans to be able to put commercials in like halfway through the game. Because there was a whole thing in the second half of the opening fixture that I believe it was Fox. I might have got the broadcaster wrong. American broadcaster Fox. The game couldn't be restarted after the second hydration break because Fox was still on a commercial. Because the minute... In the UK, we don't see it. In the UK, it says hydration break. We see everything that's happening on the pitch. Both iPlayer, the BBC, and ITV are both very keen. Like, no, we're not changing jack. And it's how it's done. But in America, the minute the ref calls hydration break, it cuts to a commercial, and it goes for however long. And if the ref wants to end it early, he has to stand there and wait while someone in the studio goes, "Oh, the commercial break's over. You can join back now. You can restart it." The fact that was the opening game is proof that it's not done for player benefit. It's not done for any kind of good moral reason. It's a money-making thing.
It's a complete money-making thing because those advert slots cost a lot of money. And it is very much a case of... Because the Germany-Curaçao game today was played in a stadium with a roof, with air conditioning, no, offensive conditions to play in.
I see what you're about to get to, but I know why they've done it. Why they've done it is because they have to do it for every game to mitigate the argument of, but if we had a hydration break, or if we didn't have that break, then we would have kept the momentum going. So they have to do it for every game to make it uniform, so that no one can be like the break gives a adverse effect because everyone gets the same thing. Because not the Curaçao game. We'll get there in a minute because we're going to go through these chronologically. But one thing on, I think, today's game in Dallas, that is the biggest. They said it on the stream. That is the world's largest air-conditioned sporting arena in the world. And so if it's air conditioned, you would think, right, we don't really need to have a hydration break. But I'm guaranteed they've done it because we've already seen the effects of the hydration break on momentum in the game. Specifically, even in like Canada versus Bosnia, the Canadian the attack was completely shut out by the hydration break, and it comes back, and then it's just one-way traffic for Bosnia. And you're thinking, Canada were doing amazing; they're going to take this, but no, because of the breakup and the forceful breakup in momentum, you really are playing a game of 4 quarters as a result. It really is 4 separate kickoffs.
Well, they have. Americans have found a way to make football 4 quarters.
Yeah, and I hate them for it, frankly. There's no
I
other
hate them
way of
for it.
putting it because they've really like opened the door up for like no, I think no respectable European broadcaster will ever try and do that ever. But they have opened it up
No,
for like because they're gonna try and put a World Cup in Saudi at some point. That will have hydration
but
breaks and
they'll
all.
have hydration breaks.
The next one is in Spain, Morocco, and Portugal. That will have hydration breaks for certain. And they're all just
Mm,
going to use this as a, oh well, the precedent has been set now that we can
mm.
break up 45. Like, what was wrong with just having 45 minutes of uninterrupted play and then 15 solid minutes of adverts in the middle at halftime? That's what halftime is for. No one really listens to halftime commentary. We go put the kettle on and we just like mute the TV so that the adverts can run. Like we all know the drill. We've learnt this. It's not, our parents have known this. Our grandparents have, the invention of the TV has known this. We don't need this. I don't know. It's just a whole lot of malarkey, and I'm not here
Well,
for it.
it should be based off temperature.
It's purely so that it makes it
If it's
fair, though,
above
isn't it?
if it's above a certain temperature, the game is stopped halfway through, which it happens in England
Mm,
and in other European leagues. If it's too hot, the game is stopped halfway through. Players take on water, absolutely fine, because the games aren't on TV. So there's absolutely no adverts. It's purely for player welfare. But when you are playing in, like the Australia game last night, indoor stadium, air conditioned, has a roof, no conditions that players. I mean, they're good conditions. I mean, it's too cold, if anything. Fans need to put jackets on, and we're having hydration breaks because the
yeah.
advert slots have already been sold. That's why. It's not even about being fair. It's only fair. It's only unfair if you have one hydration break in the game and not in the second half. Across games, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's purely
Mm,
because those advert slots have been sold, and they will
100%.
lose out on a hell of a lot of money if they now say we're not going to have a hydration break anymore, even though it's 17 degrees. We've got air conditioning.
No,
It's
100%. I would
ridiculous.
I would hate to be the team of lawyers that has to like band together if like one of the broadcasts decides not to like have the hydration break commercial played because I mean that's like millions and millions of dollars down the drain.
Well,
And so
if they sold the ad time, I mean, it's not even a football issue. It's then a completely legal issue if they don't, but they will because they get the money.
mm. But I mean we've already seen that this World Cup is like unbelievably expensive. I mean the ITV studio for example, I think the like rough figure that I heard was 35 million for to rent a studio in like I mean yeah it's a prime location you look at it but
Oh, it's more than a prime location.
it's just ridiculous though. Like the everything. I mean, even the rumors about I don't think we've had a game in the MetLife Stadium, the New York Stadium yet. But
It was Brazil,
was that the
Brazil,
Brazil
Morocco.
game? Yeah, the
Yeah,
train to get to that stadium normally $12, $150 for the same train. I mean, you're taking the piss. Like you know what you're doing. Like whoever owns that shit, they know what they're doing. They know that they're ripping off, but they know that no one can stop them. That's the thing. They know that it's not. They know there's nothing we can do about it.
well, Americans have mastered a few things in life. Capitalism is one,
Mm,
probably number one. I think if you have a ticket, you get like a discounted train fare. But the fact they have spiked the price of the train, in any case, is just ridiculous. It's the same as how much water costs in an airport or football stadium.
But
You're there, you've got no choice. You have to take this train because you can't walk, and we know the Americans have been telling us you can't walk there.
I guarantee there's going to be an Instagram video, a YouTube video.
I've seen someone.
Is there already? Is there already a thing?
It
Because
took
it's going to
him.
be.
It took him 8 hours,
Mm,
and it's only about 4 miles or something. But it took him 8 hours. You have to go through, walk on the side of highways, over bridges, through bushes. He said he took a rest during the middle, so it would have been less time. But it's doable, but it's not. You couldn't get 80,000 people walking there because people would die.
but you know what? I'm not being funny. If I was in America for the World Cup with nothing to do but watch the game, and I had 8 hours to kill, and I didn't want to spend $150, I would freaking walk in. Why not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no. 150 is a joke, and yeah, you might. I also heard the thing of you might get a bit of a discount if you've got a ticket. Who is going to the stadium without a ticket?
Well, some fans are very, very passionate. You see it with various big games. Why do do you know when you hear big European finals, big European games? There's 20,000 Arsenal fans here in Hungary. You've only got about 10,000 tickets.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk.
What you do?
I almost went to Budapest
Yeah.
without a ticket. I really can't chat.
So it's
I
like,
get it.
I know you spend the day there, the atmosphere, and then you find a pub, but it's people will people will go there without a ticket.
I don't know. It just that was another bit that I saw that was just like it just irritated me. I don't know, but I think this was one of those things before the World Cup kicked off. There's lots of these negative stories. I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. There was lots of negative stuff about the way America was running it, the way it was going to be, the changes they were making, blah 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 blah. And then now it's kicked off. I've watched every single game, and you know what? I'm absolutely loving it. It's great. I'll be honest. Some of the games have been quite dry, but it's been exciting stuff. I mean, we'll get into the fixtures now because there's a lot to run through, and we don't want to spend hours here. Because Sweden Tunisia is calling our name.
Is it?
Maybe. Knowing our luck, it will be like 8-0 Sweden, and we'll click onto it and be like, "What on earth have we missed here?"
Yeah.
But we'll start. We'll do it in chronological order for like the games as they've come out because just for some sort of sense. So we've only had 11 games so far from groups A to F. First, the opening game, a controversial opening, I would say. Mexico, South Africa. Mexico 2, South Africa 0. Just red card mayhem. I mean, 3 reds in a World Cup opener is something.
Well, it certainly is. We've had the Hall of Shame performance of the whole tournament already by Mr. Sithole. Or Sithole.
Oh, what do you mean? He's
Sithole.
He's had the absolute greatest tournament performance so far. Played 30 minutes, got sent off in the first half, and I mean he clearly came for one purpose and one purpose only.
Well, he's clearly a Nigerian spy within the South African ranks, and he's there to completely destabilise them. And there's a few little.
The amount of memes I have seen that he's a Nigerian spy is really funny.
Well, there's a few little controversies going on with South Africa and other African nations at the moment.
Yeah.
So the African countries are not supporting South Africa at this World Cup.
Shocking stuff, I know, because I mean you can see any amount of research and you can realistically see why.
Well, no, it's more recent events actually.
What's the recent event that's caused? I don't actually know the
latest
stuff.
There's lots of people illegally going to South Africa from other African nations, and South Africa are doing their best to get them out. and there's lots of jokes about South Africans, like they're at the World Cup, and apparently the immigrants from other African nations are stealing the South Africans' jobs. So there's lots of jokes about, well, this guy's got sent off to go home to protect his job in South Africa. So yeah, no, it's not even about previous events. It's current.
It's current stuff then, fair enough. I mean, the game itself was pretty... I mean, South Africa, realistically, I didn't expect them to win. I didn't expect them to do anything. But it wasn't an amazing showing from Mexico. But then I don't think we can really rule this as a game of... We can see how these teams have performed. They got 3 guys sent off. I mean, the whole stat was that the Qatar World Cup, in the whole tournament, there was only 4 red cards given. In the entirety of the 2022 World Cup, in the opening game, we hit 3. Those will probably be the only 3 of the tournament. But the fact that in one game we almost equaled the amount of reds in an entire tournament is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and I would argue they were all fair, apart from the last Mexican one, possibly not. But I think they were fair red cards. So it is quite incredible, actually. But to be honest, Mexico at the Azteca, first game of the World Cup in which they're hosting, I expected a raucous atmosphere. I expected the Mexicans to fly into challenges, to press, to have loads of shots, really be intense, and really just look very good. And I felt their performance was a little bit flat, and the atmosphere was a little bit flat. Now you can attribute that to that stadium being very above sea level.
The altitude does play an effect in that stadium.
The altitude will play, and that's why it's not never going to host a final, even though it is an incredible stadium.
It's like football history in that stadium.
Yeah, well, was it Pele and Maradona both won the World Cup there?
Yeah, and the iconic flags hanging from the rafters.
And it hasn't changed much since the 70s, 80s.
No, but that could mean that we are both lusting over a 1970s stadium that has not been updated.
Well, it's not us. It's commentators who said it. Who've been there then, saying, well, it hasn't changed much. Which,
it's not what you want to hear. Not what you want to hear in 2026.
You do lose magic when you modernise stadiums. There is a magic of older looking stadiums, which is what we have here.
Yeah, but there is also a reason. There's also a reason why we update stadiums, because...
Oh yeah, because
some of them
increased capacity, increased facilities, you need more hospitality suites, and we know why. But I'd support a team. It's a shithole stadium, but if you try and change it, I don't want it. Keep it. I don't want a new bowl stadium. I want I want the seats to be kicked in. I want it to be wonky. I want the barriers to be. I want the concourses to be tight. You
want to have that one seat that's blocked by a pillar.
Yeah,
I love those seats.
I love that seat. I didn't sit in it, but I went to Chelsea away a couple of years ago, and there's just one seat on its own. Just one seat, a row, just not even a row of seats. I think Tottenham have a row of one seats, and it goes all the way down, all the way up. Just one seat next to it. But Chelsea have just one solitary seat, and it's like a cuck seat. You're just on your own.
It's for the guy with Billy No Mates, is what it is.
It's a guy with no mates, or a guy who does have mates but couldn't get a ticket.
Yeah.
And he just decides to, do you know what? I bought the ticket. I bought the seat. I'm going.
I'm going 100%. It is quite funny. But I mean, going back to getting off the tangent, going back towards the World Cup. Opening fixture, I wasn't too impressed with either side. But then, I
wasn't too impressed by Mexico.
It's the first game.
I didn't expect to be impressed by South Africa.
No,
I didn't actually expect them to be that bad. But then you make a mistake, concede a goal. The altitude, probably, they had been training at a quite high altitude for the last week, but yeah, they weren't very good.
No.
South Africa, they weren't very good.
I mean, continuing with games that weren't exactly very good, moving into the second fixture, South Korea 2, Czechia 1. I'm going to be honest. Until the very end of this game, I was slightly bored. In fairness, it was like the middle of the night.
It started at 2 or 3.
2 in the morning, I think.
3 in the morning, and
And let's be real, I'm not exactly thrilled by the idea of South Korea versus Czechia, but Czechia did score first, and I was like, okay, because I had backed South Korea to do well in this group. I was like, okay, 90 whatever minute for them to get the winner. What was it, 88th minute? I can't actually remember what minute it was. 80th minute. It wasn't that late. Wasn't that late in the game actually. But like to get the goal to go ahead. I mean, I was up out of my armchair. I was, about 3:30 in the morning, going a bit ham. 4:30. No, actually, it'd been way later than that. But yeah, the sun is coming up, and I'm going ham over a South Korean goal. I have no affinity with the East of Asia whatsoever. But that was all. That was the game. I was like, okay, the World Cup is like truly here. I'm into it. I mean, to be honest, again, both teams. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking back to. I'm looking at it. That South Korea played well, but
they played well, but lacked something.
They lack something. I couldn't tell you what it is, frankly, but there is something wrong with that setup. That the minute that when they went on the back foot chasing Czechia, they were just struggling. It didn't feel comfortable. It didn't feel like they knew. There was no, like I said this the other day to someone, probably you actually. Didn't feel like there was a game plan. It didn't feel like they knew. Okay, I want to be here so that I have the option of passing.
They didn't know each other's roles either.
No,
and there was a little bit of hesitancy. They played a bit too slowly, which I think was the main problem. It's the intensity. But when they went down, they picked the intensity up a little bit, and they got the goal back. And were probably the best. I mean, Czech Republic, again, I actually thought they were really poor. Really, really poor. When they got the goal ahead, I thought, okay, well, I can see them actually holding on, given South Korea's performance. But for a team who, got there via the playoffs, going into it positive momentum, to produce that performance where realistically, they sat deep, hoofed the ball up to no pace up front. And quite frankly, they're probably quite lucky to go ahead actually, because I think the best bit of quality from Czech Republic in that game was the long throw.
Oh yeah, the long throw was ideal, to be fair.
That's a fantastic ball.
But yeah, I mean, I do think South Korea were lucky to win it, but I think considering the second half was all South Korea just constantly attacking the goal.
I'd say they deserved it, and they looked better when Son went off.
Yeah, which surprised me actually, because he's obviously their like star. Like, I mean, he's the face of South Korea. He's a megastar. He's the face of South Korea, realistically. But the minute he went off,
and it
started. It just started clicking.
I think Wang from Wolves came on, and I think the guy who scored the goal came on for Son.
Yeah.
10 minutes before. He just doesn't look well. He played for the centre, and he couldn't trap the ball. He had a few chances, Son. He should have scored, and he would have done if he was in his prime.
Maybe he's showing his age.
But I think that last year at Tottenham was, you could see him. You could see him slowing down, and he just couldn't trap the ball. He couldn't control it, and I think that was. They were playing very slowly. Then they would play a ball into Son, and he'd lose it. And that was the sort of the pattern of the game. Son would lose it. Czech Republic would go forward, hoof it long, sort of hoping for set pieces, throw-ins, really. A bit of a nothing game. South Korea probably deserved it, and it makes that group. I mean, the group looks good for South Korea because, I mean, I think South Africa are the bottom feeders. They will give 3 points to everybody in the group, and South Korea will qualify.
I mean, realistically, it was a comeback of dreams for South Korea, but at the same time, that group is shaping up sort of how everyone expected to. Mexico and South Korea both getting a win. South Africa doing absolutely jack, And Czech Republic, Czechia,
Czech
realistically
Republic playing for third place.
playing for third
really.
place and seeing that they can get enough to get through on that third
If they beat
place
South
position.
Africa convincingly, they will get third place.
100%. Moving on to Canada 1, Bosnia 1. Now, this was a game that, I'll be honest, my note here is fairly neutral, neither side too impressive. Because that is essentially how I could sum up that game, was nothing really spectacular happened. I mean, the Bosnia goal, I was like, fair enough, they've got one in, Canada were just not doing it. And then Canada get one back, I'm like, okay, but they've turned it on too late. They've started trying too late into it. And considering it's a host nation in front of their own home crowd, I mean, it was just poor from both, realistically. I mean, Bosnia, I wasn't expecting much, although they've got probably one of the biggest fan groups online and at this tournament, all things considered, that I've seen. Obviously, excluding the host nations from that, because realistically, the hosts are going to have the biggest fan groups, obviously.
Yeah, and geographically near countries as well. I mean, Ecuador had a huge following tonight.
Ecuador tonight, we'll get on to that, but I mean, yeah, that game, I mean, do you any other comment on the Canada-Bosnia? Because I don't have anything with that.
Well, it's just like you said, they're the host nation. It's their first competitive game in over a year. They look nervous. I think that's ultimately what that first half was, especially. They looked nervous. They should have scored. I think Jonathan David had an incredible chance, and he blew it.
I mean, he was taken off quite early, to be fair.
I think again he might have been taken off for
Larin.
No,
he got taken off for Larin.
He got taken off in the 60th minute for the other David.
Right.
Larin came on a bit later for Olawasai. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, they look nervous, and they haven't played a competitive game in a year. Ultimately, they were having problems scoring goals. It has been their problem for a while. They just don't score. I thought they looked okay defensively. I thought I can't pronounce his name. the Figueroles, whatever his name is, guy who's contracted to, was it Chelsea or some club. Whoever the commentator was said he played with him. He looked quite impressive. Apart from that, Bosnia, I think I said at the time they looked a bit better than Czech Republic did. Play a bit similar. They probably have a few better players. Probably have a bit more pace. A few more players wanting to take men on. But apart from that, they let it go in the second half. They had that one chance when I forgot who it was, but he went through 1-on-1 straight at the goalkeeper, saved it. Apart from that, I think it was probably a fair result.
I think it's a fair result, but it's the first of many 1-1 games in the first 11 fixtures. But I mean, for a host nation in their home turf, it was just a little bit lackluster for me.
Yeah, they looked nervous, and to be honest, if Canada didn't get a goal, I wouldn't have been sat there. I wouldn't be sat here saying, "Oh, they deserved a point."
No,
I think they got a point. Bosnia got a point. We move on. Everyone, that whole group's that whole group B's full of 1-1s.
Yeah, but then we'll go on to the final host nation, because I think this is where we've got a little bit to talk about. USA 4, Paraguay 1. We're going to ignore the weird fact that USA for some reason are in Group D and not Group C. Don't understand the logic there, considering you've got 3 host nations, A, B, and C. Why not? Some would say match fixing. I'm not going to say match fixing, but either way, USA 4, Paraguay 1. I mean, I know that I can speak for both of us here when we both say we expected USA to win this. Like, they were expected to win it, but not by that much. I didn't expect a 4-1 result. I expected a 2-1, 2-0 at most. But we're looking at a USA side that, frankly, is very impressive. I mean, they could be the dark horse This is one of the things that keep coming up in all the broadcasts and all the commentators. Who is the dark horse of this tournament? It could very well be the United States of America, because
I think it could be.
that was an
Definitely.
exceptional showing of strength. Especially considering Mexico and Canada both didn't really do much in their opening fixtures, but then USA turn up and it's just like the goals are rolling in. I mean, I genuinely, it could have been more.
It probably should have been.
It probably should have been more. It could have genuinely been like 6-1, 7-1. It was an incredible showing.
And Paraguay are no mugs. They really aren't mugs. They are a very, very solid team, very good defensively. They didn't show it, but this is the team that during their qualification beat Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay.
Yeah, then Florian Balogun beat them into submission.
And then America could take off the LeBron James of soccer at half time.
Yeah, the LeBron James of soccer, Christian Pulisic. I mean, he had a good first half though.
You could see it when, I mean, he didn't score, but you could see it in the celebration for the first goal, how much it means to these players, especially Pulisic.
Captain America
Because he
himself.
has so much weight on his shoulders. You hear how the American broadcasters, pundits, talk about him like he is some
Like he's the
genetically modified
Messiah,
superhero.
the American Messiah of soccer, Christian Pulisic, who's come to save the American people. It's unreal the way they talk about him, but I mean, it is true. The weight must be immense.
But let's be honest. It's as if we sort of idolised Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, no,
You know, we were a nation of NFL lovers, baseball lovers, and we had a soccer team, and we had Anthony Gordon as our main guy. You know, that's sort of the level. But I always do find it funny when, like, America have players such as Chris Richards, Tim Reen, Anthony Robinson, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, who have all played in England. So you do get a representative scale of how good these players are in England, in these leagues, because we've watched them every week. And these players aren't top players. But, you know, when you can get a team cohesion together and really get these players behind, find an identity for them, get them playing for each other, get them playing for the manager, get them playing for the fans, everyone, these players do turn into much better players than what they may show at club level. And I think that's probably what America have this year. You know, nothing is going to spark football in America more than America getting to a quarter-final, right, in a home World Cup. If America, I think, I will go as far as to say as an American minimum quarter-final would spark such a change in the attitudes to this sport in that land. They would win the World Cup within 30 years, purely as a domino effect of doing well in this tournament, because they could really do well.
They have the infrastructure. They have the infrastructure in the college level of the sport.
But they have the infrastructure to produce players like every other nation. But the only problem with American football in that country, they've somehow turned it into a rich man's sport. The money you need, because it's not a sport necessarily that's universities and colleges focus on. It's a bit more specialised. So you actually do need money to go to these colleges that do prioritise the sport. And all the facilities, it costs a lot of money in there. Not like here where you know, there's goals, there's pitches, there's muds, potholes, all these things on the pitch. There, it's all very pristine, but it costs a lot of money. And I think that's the only thing letting them down. This would spark such a huge change that you would see football pitches go up across America.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And if America focus on football, they'll win a World Cup easily.
If they
they'll
put
win
their
the World Cup.
minds to it, if they actually like
If they put
like
the
sat
money
down
into
and put the money in,
grassroots
they
football,
would do
they would win.
amazing.
And I think that could be sparked by this tournament, and it could be sparked by this team and these players. And Christian Pulisic could go down as the player to sort of spark it all. You know, he could be the way, you know, Mia Hamm is thought of in American football over there. American football, women's football over there. That sort of god who everyone looks up to. She's the one who sparked it all. You know, every woman who comes through says she's the one I looked up to. She's the one I've heard about, and that's what Christian Pulisic might be. You know, or it could be Florian Ballaghan. You know, you never know.
Is it too early to start calling Christian Pulisic the American Maradona? Are we not there yet?
I don't think there'll ever be a time.
No.
Unless he does pick the ball up and throw it, you know, in the final, picks the ball up, decides to switch sports, throw it to Ballaghan who scores, you know, winning the World Cup that way. I don't think. Or he takes loads of drugs on the pitch. You know.
Yeah, you know what? It's either way, really.
You got two roads, Christian. You either become a cheat or a druggie, but you're gonna be immortalised. But yeah, no, America. I can't wait to see America play again to see if they can keep it up. But
yeah, I am looking forward. Ironically, I wasn't looking forward to them before coming into this tournament, but now after that first showing, I am very much looking forward to their next game.
Yeah, which is Australia.
Who we'll get to in a minute.
Be a good game.
We'll get to that in a minute because I've got a lot to say about Australia. But moving on, Qatar won, Switzerland won. Now, I watched this whole game. I don't think you saw the entire thing.
I watched the last 15 minutes.
All right, my genuine thoughts on this. Switzerland, realistic. You look at this fixture and everyone goes, right, Switzerland have got this in the bag. All right, Qatar couldn't even get a point when they were the host nation of their own World Cup. Right? Switzerland got their goal. It's 1-0. Everyone's like, right, pack up shop. It's done. Qatar genuinely started playing like 2012 Barcelona. I'm not joking. They were making passes, making movements, making opening spaces. I genuinely sat up in my chair watching Qatar, and I was like, holy shit, they're doing it's got to be. I think I texted you middle of the game. I was like, it's coming. Something is cooking here. Lo and behold, 96th minute they bang one in. I'm like, you know what? It was more than deserved for Qatar to get a point out of that fixture. Switzerland, I would be really concerned in the Swiss camp right now to have been 1-0 up and they just sat on their laurels. They just didn't. They were like, yeah, we've done it. We've got a goal. And they opened the door up, and Qatar were like, we will have some of that. And they really, you know what? If Qatar can, like, I admit it's a bit of a stretch for Qatar. No offense to them, but like, they haven't exactly got a track record of doing amazing. If they can get even a tenth of the ability they showed in that second half consistent, I could see them getting out of the group stage. I really can. It's a strong thing there, but I really do think that they could do it.
I'm not sure. I think that group is, to be fair, it's all level, so it's all to play for. I do think that is such a one-off. I think that being their first ever World Cup goal is, you know, it's such a moment it might propel them, but it could be they could just be happy with that. But I watched the last 15 minutes and I think I got the whole gist of the game, to be honest, because Switzerland, it's what you get for being that complacent. It's what, not necessarily what Qatar deserved from what I was watching. It's what Switzerland deserved to concede. Players going through on goal when they should be going to the corner, not realising the situation they're in. You know, pissing about with it basically in front of goal. You know, they had chances, they misplaced passes, they made wrong decisions. They didn't look bothered. They thought they were good. They thought they'd won it. And quite frankly, I'm quite happy because I got an equaliser.
No, I do think I do think that Qatar are one of those teams that Won't be watching closely, but I will be looking and checking that. I will be keeping an eye on them because I think there could be something. I mean, they've got one. This is their first ever point in a World Cup finals. They're not going to be satisfied with just one. They're going to want to keep pushing for that.
Yeah,
But it was a good. It was an exciting game. I actually really got into it.
Yeah, one last thing on Switzerland is they have the team that's been together the longest, pretty much. A lot of these players have been in that team for ages, and they've lost players like Shaqiri, and they've done nothing at any of these competitions really. You know, they've got to Euro quarter-final, I think, and that's it. You know, and it's the same team that's been together again over and over. Manager's been there ages. I think that they are not going to get out the group, and quite frankly, I think a lot needs to change for them. They could win the next two games and, you know, go really far, but I can't see it. I really can't see it. I think I would be fuming if I was a Swiss supporter, because you have to win that game. You have to win it. You know, if you're in a group with Bosnia, again, decent forms, and a host nation, you got to win it. You know, you have to win that game.
You've got to go as the Swiss. You've got to go into the game against a nation that has never got a single point or goal in a World Cup final.
And you have been together for ages.
Yeah,
really good players.
And you come out the points even. I would be fuming.
Yeah, to be fuming, but anyway.
Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. Brazil won, Morocco won. So this is what these two nations are ranked fifth and sixth in the world.
Sixth and seventh.
Sixth and seventh, right? I've got to be honest.
Didn't look like it.
This was the most disappointing fixture so far, in my personal opinion.
It was the most hyped up.
It was so hyped up, and then it was utter rubbish. I'm sorry, but the first 10 minutes everything leading up to Morocco's goal, Brazil may as well have not shown up. They didn't play anything. They didn't make any good passes. No one was running. The defense was passing it around the back. I mean, I'm going to be honest, they had it. They got exactly what they deserved. They didn't show up. Morocco scored. I was like, fair enough. Then Vinicius Jr. decides to become like the most unreal baller of all time.
Well, he did what he needed to do.
Does what he needed to do. Steps up.
No one else would.
No one else was doing anything. He cuts inside, hits it in, that little finesse shot into the corner. 1-1. I'll be honest, I have no other notes on this game.
The game died after that.
The game was totally dead after that. It was really boring, really dull. For what was hyped up to be the absolute best match of that best matchup of this entire group, it was pathetic. If I'm Ancelotti right now, I'm sitting there going, what on earth do I need to do to get this team in gear? Because whatever that was not it. If I'm the Moroccan manager, I'm looking at the fact that I got a point against Brazil, and I've got Haiti in my group left to play and Scotland. If I'm Morocco, I'm setting my sights on getting really far in this tournament.
I think Morocco are going to. I don't think that was their best, and they're going to grow into the tournament. Brazil, unfortunately, I think could struggle against a team like Scotland and Haiti, to be fair, because again the expectation on them is to win the game. And I think while they've got very good players, they haven't got good enough players to demand that expectation from the fans and from the media over there. So I think they're going to struggle. I think
so. I think what anyone is obsessed with Brazil, I was about to say Barcelona there, what anyone is really caring about with Brazil seems to be whether Neymar is going to come and play, which realistically, now that we're in the tournament, doesn't mean anything if Neymar plays if you get knocked out in the group stage. Like, this is the thing. I feel like they're not switched on. In the Brazil camp is not turned on. Their brains are not firing. There is a fundamental problem there that needs serious addressing.
To be honest, watching that game and watching Igor Thiago up front, I wasn't thinking, God, I wish, Brazil need Neymar on the pitch. I was thinking, well, they need João Pedro. They need a João Pedro player, because I think João Pedro is ultimately what Carlo Ancelotti thinks Igor Thiago is, which is a link between the other two wide men who are world-class players. But he's not that kind of player. João Pedro should be there.
I said this to you on the day that I don't know why he didn't play Endrick. I don't know why that front three wasn't Vinicius Junior, Endrick, Rafinha.
Well, to be honest, I think it should. I think João Pedro should be there as the number one, and then Cunha, then Endrick. Igor Thiago shouldn't even be there.
Send him home. He's a fraud. Just put him back on the plane.
He
Get
is,
someone
he is
else.
a fraud. I did see a comment saying Brentford lose £20 million every time Igor Thiago plays a game on TV, and it's true. Igor Thiago on when the cameras are on him, probably one of the worst strikers I've ever seen. But when the cameras are off, he scores.
Well, I say
he scored a lot of goals.
he's playing up front for Brazil at the World Cup. There's a lot of cameras on him right now.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. Brentford, no matter how good they've been, Brentford should never have Brazil's number 9 playing for them.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the thing. Is also mind-boggling.
It's a bit like when Julio Cesar was at QPR, but also playing for Brazil as their number 1. Just a little bit wrong, you know.
Well, if you want another stat that's wrong, I heard this today from the commentary team on the Ivory Coast game. There are 12 Sunderland players at the World
There
Cup.
are more Sunderland than Real Madrid.
Than Real Madrid. How, in God's name, have Sunderland, right, got more players than Real Madrid? Well, mostly because Spain have no Real players. But how is that? How do we live in a world where that's possible?
Well, Sunderland did sign a lot of good players.
Doesn't matter.
They signed a lot of African players, and these African players, if you're a Premier League African, you are probably going to be in your nation's World Cup squad.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So they're really good recruitment, and I mean they're good players.
Oh, if we're going to talk about recruitment and absolute frauds, we're going to move on to Haiti, Scotland. Scotland winning 1-0. But we're going to focus on some key recruitment things, mainly Tottenham Hotspur and Andy Robertson putting out the post being like, look at all our players at the World Cup, and Robertson, who they've just signed, is in that list of players, trying to take credit for Robertson being at the World Cup.
A man who has never even been to their training grounds.
Has never even put on a
Spurs
Spurs kit.
While he was in America.
Yeah.
And they're claiming him, but I mean it's shameless. But they don't have much to claim from the last year, so we'll let them have it.
I mean, some key things from the Scotland-Haiti game. One, it was the most exciting game of the tournament so far, despite the fact that it was at 2 a.m. and everyone was half asleep. Everyone was wide awake by the end of that game.
Well, everyone half asleep, unless you're in Scotland, which you were more than half drunk.
More than half. Oh, completely off your absolute heads. But in fairness, fair enough. Everyone who was half asleep, though, was definitely woken up halfway through the game when the broadcast decided to kick out and scare the shit out of everyone. Which was fun, and everyone was like, what is going on? And that wasn't just like an ITV or BBC or wherever it was just everywhere. All coverage for that game dropped for like 20 seconds, which was great. It would be on Scotland's game that the coverage drops, but we're looking at it now. Scotland are top of their group, but how long can they really hold on for? Because I think we had both written them. I think I'd put them second in my. I think you had got them in third.
Scotland?
Place. Yeah.
No, Scotland are in third place for me. I'm not putting Scotland ahead.
Them. I tell you because I'm not being. I mean, one, we're also going to talk about the Haitian goalkeeper. That's a whole different thing. But they beat Haiti. They are on flying form. I reckon they get a result against Brazil and Morocco. Probably a draw against both of them. And they go through on 5 points, second place. I reckon Brazil win the next 2 games. Or I reckon Morocco win the next 2 games. I reckon Brazil struggle. I reckon Brazil go third. Hot take. I reckon Brazil go third.
I'm keeping them second, but because Scotland, competitive game. You know, I mean, they were never gonna steamroll them.
No.
But it was a competitive game, and Haiti looked a lot more comfortable on the ball, playing football than a lot of the other teams have, who weren't fancied. So I mean, there was no other goal scorer apart from John McGinn. There was never going to be any, maybe McTominay, but John McGinn
not Dykes.
Well, if Lyndon Dykes scores at a World Cup, I think the World Cup needs to end.
Have you put a bet on for that to happen yet?
I haven't put Lyndon Dykes top goal scorer at the World Cup this time. No, I haven't.
That's the
He let me
greatest.
down in Euros a couple of years ago.
Lyndon Dykes, who top scorer of the tournament, was the most outrageous bet I've ever seen. But
Well, he was playing for us at the time. Yeah.
What were the odds on that? Like 2001.
I think it was in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah. Like you'd been a millionaire at the end of that.
I put a tenner on it. I thought, to be honest, Lyndon Dykes is my most bet on footballer because
he's wild.
The amount of times I put a bet on Lyndon Dykes to score a hat trick is because he scored 2 goals for us quite a lot, but you know he never quite got there.
He never. If you stop betting on him, he probably scores a hat trick every week.
No. I did, and he barely scores. Barely scores, but he's got in the World Cup. I mean, Ollie McBurney should be ahead of Lyndon Dykes. I'm not being funny.
Yeah.
Ollie McBurney, who won the playoff final for Hull, had an incredible season, is currently sat at home. While Lyndon Dykes, who's how many goals? What, 4 or 5 goals this season?
Something like that. Yeah.
Spent the first half at Birmingham. Yeah, not great. But
I mean, if we're talking about personnel playing for the Scotland team, do you want to talk about your man at the back?
my man about Grant Hanley is a player I watched years ago at Loftus Road, and I said his legs are gone. He'll be in the Scottish Championship soon. Despite playing quite well that game, I thought his legs had gone. Suddenly, he's turned into Tom Brady on that pitch.
He's become
the most. Passes.
He's become a absolute long bomb specialist, pinging the ball up. And I remember you said this to me, like, "Oh, his legs are gone." I'm watching him whip these balls up the pitch with the most unbelievable precision. I'm like, this. He's a fraud as a defender, but my God, this man, he should be like a DM smacking him up because he's distributing. His distribution is unreal in that game. But my God, he's crap.
Well, okay, way to shoot a man down.
No, like, he's getting shot down because I'm sorry, he is garbage. But like,
no, I to be honest, Grant Hanley needs to learn to keep his hands by his side.
No, he does.
Because I still think they should have probably had a penalty.
Yeah.
Haiti.
Like it was. There were some questionable moments in that game.
It was questionable moments, but Scotland got the win.
Speaking of Haiti, though, because I think this is also a key thing that I said to you after that game. You look at Haiti and you think, who the fuck are Haiti? What are they gonna do? I think you said it. You think Haiti. All you think of is an earthquake from 16 years ago. You don't think World Cup contender, right? But like, you're watching them play, they are quite good. Like they are better than we give them credit for, by far. Which I think you could say for any team that qualifies for the World Cup finals, realistically, except England because obvious reasons. But like, Haiti actually have some, like, they actually were playing some serious ball, and I was sat there going, you know what? I was in awe of these men playing this game because I was like, maybe I was just hating for no reason subconsciously, but they were really good. Like, they actually played a very competitive, exciting game, which I can't say the same about Brazil, but I can say it about Haiti. What does that tell you?
Well, I don't know.
It tells you that Haiti actually, you know, there's something there. They're cooking. Let them come back like 40 years from now. They might be doing something. Oh, need a wee drink there because, my God, my throat is going. Also, another thing I want to talk about is the Haitian goalkeeper. That guy is built like a brick shit house. My God, I could not get my eyes off him. Every time the camera comes, he just fills half the goal. Like, he is huge. It was just like I didn't think much of it until I saw him, and then I took notice of him, and I was like, damn, he's got the sharpest beard going, and he is jacked. Like, he is just massive. And I was like, you know what? Fair enough. Like,
being the tallest.
Without being, yeah, he's not the tallest bloke in the world, but he is absolutely shredded to high fuck. Like, that man could be a bodybuilding champion.
No, you could see his sort of I wouldn't call them abs, but you can see the outline of his stomach from the pit-side camera when he's about 40 yards away.
You can
You
tell
can see
football
this
is a
man bulging out of his shirt.
you can tell football is a secondary passion for this man. He's
Yeah,
clearly
this
a gym freak.
Street Fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Street Fighter, gym freak, UFC man. Like he's clearly not built for football. He's clearly built to crack heads. But like, what a boy. I mean, he didn't do very well. Obviously, he conceded, but I mean, fair enough. Like,
Well, it's a deflected effort.
yeah, you couldn't do anything
It's not
about
his
that.
fault. But yeah, no, good on
But
them.
speaking of goalkeepers, we're going to move on to a game I personally, right, was very excited about. Australia 2, Turkey 0. Before we get into anything, this is my personal favourite game so far. The absolute biggest shout out that I could ever give to Patrick Beach, the goalkeeper, for pulling off the greatest save I've ever witnessed in the history of the game. Right, it's a lot of praise, but that man carried the nation of Australia on his shoulders last night, 2 nights ago. Last night was last night. And like the thing is about this game, and going into this game, I genuinely was sat there going, "It's Turkey, they're the dark horse." I know we have a whole thing about this, but Turkey, they're going to be the dark horse. Like they're gonna show up and they're gonna be absolutely amazing. Patrick Beach said no. He was like, "Nah, fuck you guys." Save after save after save. I mean, he's in mid-air, hand stretched, puts it over onto the fucking post, and it goes off. I mean, genuinely, might need to change my bets and like hedge everything on the Aussies going like to the quarterfinals because that goalie is going to carry them. Because holy shit, if he doesn't get like a Premier League move at the end of this, whoever laps him up is laughing all the way to the bank because fuck me, man, he was unreal. And the only thing I have on this game, the only thing like the two goals, I was like meh. I mean, the second goal was like as it bent away from the keeper into the corner. It was quite nice. But all eyes are not on the goals. They're on the goalie because fucking hell,
Well, goalie and defence.
they
I
were
mean,
unreal.
but like I said when watching it, Turkey, a few little intricate balls, and they got in, they breached this, pretty much the bus had holes in it, and they managed to breach it, but they just never managed, they got past the defence, whipped the ball in, shot on goal, goalkeeper saves it. And that was just a pattern, or Harry Suter heads it away. This was, and to be honest, you mentioned the goalkeeper, I mentioned Harry Suter, injured all year, comes back, plays one game for Leicester this season, and then goes straight to the World Cup and puts in that performance.
They're unreal. They're actually played beyond their skin, and I'm genuinely sat here going right. Like, who else is in their group? Are they in the Germany Curaçao group? No. Yeah, they are. They are in
Australia,
the
no, they're in
no.
America, Paraguay.
They're America. Oh, they're with America. I genuinely think Australia comes second in their group.
I agree.
I think America win every game, but next game is Australia USA. Genuinely, that is the game to watch because Australia with their unreal defense, America with their like genuine like flowing stages of attack, that is going to be one of the best games of this tournament, or at least in this round anyway. But that is yeah. I mean, I'm watching Australia eagerly from this moment onwards because that was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen, and I did not expect them to do shit. And now I'm a massive Aussie fan.
No, I expected Australia to be, again, disappointing. No, they did well.
Yeah, especially considering it was what 5 a.m. No, yeah, it was a 5 a.m. kickoff. I coerced you into staying up to watch it, and it turned out to be like the best game of the night.
And also the first Australia goal of the tournament so far.
100%. 100% goal of the tournament. This is the thing, goal of the tournament, save of the tournament. Just give it. Yeah. Australia win the World Cup? Question mark. Because I mean, seriously, if they can keep up that performance, I'll put them in the semi-finals.
No, they defended well, but they were breached a few times, and they scored one very good goal, one goal. I think the keeper would have done better if he could see it all the way.
I'm going to say this now.
No,
I'm going to say
I
this
have
now.
Australia second, but
I'm
losing them.
I'm gonna expose this now and say this now. I
Mhm.
have put a £5 bet on Australia to potentially win the World Cup.
Okay, well,
May have been
times are
done.
tough,
May have been done out of on a high. I'm going to be honest, on a pure Australia high after that game. Um, but I did whip open William Hill and put a bet on for £5 for Australia to win it.
Yeah, no,
So
times are too tough for this to just be giving
to give
William
him
Hill for fiver.
this from the guy who put Lyndon Dykes to be top goal scorer of the Euros. I'm not having it.
Yeah, but that was more realistic.
Sorry, what?
That was
It's
more
more
realistic.
realistic that Australia have a wonder tournament and win the World Cup than it is for Lyndon Dykes to be top goal scorer in Europe.
No, just at the Euros.
Yeah, Euros, Europe, but still,
I mean, it's what, 7, 8 games, the Euros, 7 games. That's
there's no chance.
a goal a game, which is more than capable of. Purple patch Lyndon Dykes is a great striker.
Look, all I'm
Right.
saying is my
Perfect may
Australia.
have only lasted a month, but he was fantastic for that month.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if Australia can replicate this performance that they've got, I see them going really far. And they
And the
are my
tournament,
in this tournament.
tournament's only a month. Yeah,
Australia are
you
my
know.
official dark horses to this tournament going forward. I'm
Okay,
put and
well,
that is my genuine official thing. I back Australia.
well, mine's America. Dark
Mm.
horses.
Well,
Actual dark horses.
we're gonna find out next week when we're back on this podcast again after
Yeah,
USA Australia, and we'll see who's laughing
yeah.
then.
What's this
But
laughing?
we're gonna talk about goals, right?
Yeah,
Germany 7, Curaçao 1.
yeah.
Right. I had a dream. The lesser known Martin Luther King speech, but I had a dream for 17 minutes when Curaçao somehow managed to equalize against Germany. I was like, I'm watching a Curaçao masterclass. This is the most unbelievable underdog story I've ever seen in my life. I was there. I was so for it. I was like, yes. And then I woke up and Germany were like, how about fuck you guys? And they smacked six more past Curaçao.
Well,
Let's be honest, we expected Germany to win.
I I completely expected Germany to, and quite frankly, I was surprised that they actually didn't look great in the first half. Germany.
I mean, they conceded to
Curacao,
Curaçao.
Curacao with Chong and Hansen, uh, and whoever they're out with, Bakuna, stretched them. I mean, exploited any little gap that Germany left, which were quite big gaps, and they exploited them. And quite frankly, if until that hydration break killed their momentum, I mean, right before that hydration break, Locadia went through, had a chance.
Hmm.
And afterwards they didn't touch the ball. Second half they changed to a sort of more narrow formation, put Chong out wide. Wasn't as effective, but yeah, once the goals started rolling in, they weren't going to stop.
Yeah, and it was just utter domination. I mean, in fairness, I predicted 8-0 Germany. There were
Yeah,
8 goals, just they didn't all come for Germany.
yeah,
But let's be the thing is, realistically, that game went exactly how everyone predicted it to. The only miracle that is really of note is the fact that Curaçao somehow managed to get one goal. And for
yeah,
17 beautiful, beautiful minutes were level, having both teams scored for Germany. I mean, to be honest, that game is probably a bettor's like wet dream because the bets like both teams to score, Germany to
yeah,
win. Mate, the odds on that must have been insane because who is predicting Curaçao? I mean, I looked on mid game and it was like 33-1 for Curaçao to win. I was like, damn, maybe I
yeah.
should. I genuinely thought about putting a £2 bet on, and then you know what? Good thing I didn't, because they got dogged. But you never know. I mean, it's their first tournament. They got one goal in it. They did
It's
better.
their first tournament.
They've done better than they've done it quicker than Qatar did. Qatar took a
Mm.
whole tournament to
Well, in Canada.
yeah. So they're off to the races.
But
But
before we move on from Curaçao, Dick Advocat becoming the oldest manager to ever manage a World Cup.
Mm.
is pretty spectacular.
But his story is
Um,
also amazing, though.
well, his story is pretty, yeah.
Like the fact that like he got them qualified and then resigned so that he could look after his
Resigned.
ill daughter because she was like in a really like bad condition. Her condition improved after he like took time away from the team, and the team were like, "Come back, and we're gonna do this with you." Now he's back with the
Yeah.
team, and he's like led them to get their first goal against a massive powerhouse nation. I mean, he's incredible. He's an inspirational guy. That's it. That they would make movies about that kind of story.
Yeah, and it's it's a nice story, and it was nice. I mean, Curaçao certainly does deserve to be equalised at that time.
Mm,
Certainly did, and I think if they had got to the half-time break at 1-1, maybe even 2-1, they might have kept it together a little bit more. But 3-1 at half-time, 4 straight after the break, sort of killed it all. They didn't
yeah.
look very good after
It's
that, to be fair.
one way traffic from that point onwards, and there was no
We have
coming
to
back.
respect it. I mean, they're an island of 150,000 people.
Yeah, I think the start I saw
They've
was
had,
less than 160,000 people.
yeah, one of those players was born on the island, and all
Yeah,
the others were born elsewhere. Um, so to have all these players get together for this nation, it's amazing that they're there. To be honest, it's incredible that they are there.
no, it really is, and it was really definitely a story. Like, they're definitely games I actually do want to watch their games because they're
Mm,
like even though like I mean even today they got one goal. I was over them. I was on my feet like this is amazing
yeah,
against Germany as well. I was gassed. I was like yes, this is amazing, but we'll see how it goes with them. But I mean I don't think they get any points, but it's exciting. It's exciting. Their story is exciting. They are the true underdogs of this tournament. So we'll see how it goes, really.
yeah, it will.
Um, but into the next game after that, we've only got a couple left before we've got to point. But Netherlands 2, Japan 2. I'll be honest, this was a fairly neutral game in my opinion. I mean, the Japanese were absolutely dominated in height compared to the Dutch, which, let's be honest, when you face the Dutch, you expect that they're going to be taller than you. But yet somehow still managed to get a headed goal as the second equaliser.
Mm,
Um, I'll be honest, neither side was really. I wasn't like amazed. I mean, the Japanese can run for days and days and days, and they did put. I think Japan honestly were probably the better side out of the two. They were putting in chances. They were running on the wings, cutting in. They were getting crosses across. There was a couple of defensive errors from the Dutch. I want to say whose team is built around a strong defense. I mean, if I'm the Netherlands, I'm worried. If I'm Japan, I'm pushing. I'm hoping that I can push in the next game. That's what
yeah,
I've got.
I think both teams will be disappointed they didn't win.
Yeah, I agree.
Dutch, Holland's scoring first twice, and then Japan letting them score and not actually kicking on. And I mean, to be fair, Japan 2 deflected goals. I think the
Yeah,
keeper could do better with the first one. The second one, I think you can give them a little leeway.
you're not touching the second one.
Well, he did touch it, but you're not saving it easily.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, both teams be disappointed. I think the Netherlands will do what they've done at the last couple of tournaments, and they will get to the quarters and lose. They haven't got a strong enough attack.
I
They haven't got
mean,
good enough. I mean, defensively, I mean, Verbruggen's not the best goalkeeper,
mm,
but to have Van de Ven pushed out to left back because you got Van Hecker and Van Dijk is pretty impressive. Dumfries is a good right back, probably better as a wing back going up attacking wise than he is defensively. But then, I mean, then you get into midfield. You got De Jong, Gravenberch, Reinders, and you think this is a really, really good team. And then you get to the front and you look at Gakpo, who I think's been pretty poor this season.
I agree.
Crescencio Somerville, who, yes, he plays for West Ham. He's their best player
Got a
this
goal as
season.
well.
Scored, but on the wrong wing.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not a right winger. I didn't even need to, you know, start watching again today to know that he's not a right winger. And to have who do they have at top again? Because
Who
to
is
have
it? Memphis Depay,
yeah,
no?
no, Marlon. Marlon's not.
Marlon.
But I also think Marlon would be better on the right,
Hmm.
and then have someone for the middle, or maybe Gakpo for the middle, like he was at the Qatar World Cup a lot, and Somerville on the left, because Somerville I think is a better player than Gakpo on that side.
I mean,
But
would you say that the Dutch have the strongest defense in this tournament?
ooh, on paper,
On paper,
possibly,
it's up there. I mean, I'm the only people I'm really comparing them with is probably France, to be honest.
probably France, maybe Germany on paper.
And actually, on paper, Brazil. Even though the game they played really didn't
No,
show it.
not
Gabriel and
they.
Marquinhos. I mean, that is a
Yeah,
pretty good back
but
two.
Ibanez and whoever
Danilo
left back
was
was.
it Danilo, wasn't
I don't even know what's I
it?
can't remember. I've never seen them before actually. Their left back, but no, defensively Brazil. If we're going off centre backs, I think Brazil are the best.
Yeah.
But as a whole, playing a Saudi league centre back at right back, taking him off at half time, yeah, not great,
No
not great.
ideal.
But yeah,
Yeah.
both teams be disappointed not to win, but I do think that Japan probably will go further.
I think we'll just have to see how future games go for both these teams, but I'm not certain. Yeah, like you say, I don't think either side can be too upset, but I don't think either side can be proud of the game they played. And they both would have expected to win this one, I think. But
Well, it's
it
the
is,
toughest game
yeah,
of that group, so
it is. I mean, it is what it is. But I agree with you though. I do back Japan to go a little bit further than the Netherlands. But again, I guess it all comes down to the matchup in the bracket later to see who they end up
yeah.
getting. Because there are some really difficult potential routes that some of these teams might have to take, and I'm not certain that if I think if Japan come up against the wrong opponent, they will get absolutely dogged. Same with the Netherlands though. Um, but we'll see how it goes. But going into
Yeah.
the game that we've just watched, Ivory Coast versus Ecuador. Now, it's 1-0 to Ivory Coast in the end. I am going to say this now. It was appalling. They are both taking about a gazillion shots. Nothing is going anywhere close. I think it pinged off the crossbar for Ivory Coast once.
Africa's hit it once, Ecuador hit it twice.
And they're just taking shots from every. I mean, like it's what you want to see at a World Cup. They get remotely close and they just ping one, and it is what it is. But I mean, if they're going to play like that, they're not going to get very far. Respectfully, you cannot
Oh,
win games if
I
you're not
disagree.
clinical. If you're not
Well,
scoring goals, you've got you.
yeah, you're not, but
And I
I
mean,
do think I
it
did see
showed.
enough out of Venezuela, Ecuador, that they do look good at times. I mean, they did putting Hincapié out very wide on the left worked a lot for them. I mean, you do have Ene Valencia up top, who's 36,
Yeah,
who's just recovered from an injury. You know, that's a good player. I mean, Caicedo, Pacho, Hincapié, fantastic players. They've got the two wingers that started, and even the ones that came on look pretty good.
mm,
Um, but yeah, ultimately, I mean, it could have been. It's a game. It could have been 2-2. I think if Ecuador got a goal in the first half, it would have sparked Ivory Coast to go and get one. Ivory Coast, I think Ivory Coast's problem is the fact that the ball kept being Fofana and Kessié, both sort of box to box midfielders, defensive midfielders, always had the ball in the edge of the box. You know, if they just got the ball out to Diomande quicker, or Ahmad eventually when he came on, I think they would have been better. But Fofana and Kessié just kept the ball too much and didn't do much with it. And I think
mm,
that was their problem. I think Wahi up front was pretty. He hit the bar. He's the one who hit the bar for them. But I think he was pretty poor. Um, but yeah, apart from that, I mean, it's a game that was there to be taken. And ultimately, Ahmad, who we all know is a good player, did it.
and he made the
And it's a
difference for
great
them for
finish.
sure. But yeah, I just worry going forward that this is not a sustainable way for them both to play. I mean, I know Ecuador can do a
I think they'll
lot.
be better. I
I
think
think
they'll
that
both play better.
they'll grow into this tournament for sure, but will they have enough time? That is the only question, really. Will they have enough time to be able to figure out the best way to play?
Well,
Um,
we'll have to see
we'll
when
have to see.
uh, um oh they're in oh I've just looked at the Sweden Tunisia
So
score.
I've also looked at. We're going to go on to that in a minute because it's obviously ongoing now. Um,
But it's Group E with Germany and Curaçao. So
yeah. So realistically,
I think both of those teams could hurt Germany,
yeah. But I
especially
do.
if they played in the first half.
This is also one of the groups where I think Germany, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador all go through.
Yeah, yeah, they will
They will all
possibly
qualify for the
because they'll
next
all beat
round.
Curaçao.
So they'll all have enough points to get by whoever doesn't get through. Um, but I mean, look, it's been a lot of exciting games so far, and I mean, we're looking at this just started the second half of Sweden Tunisia, which obviously neither of us are currently watching, but we've checked the score and it's currently 2-1 Sweden
To be fair,
Tunisia.
it's half time now, but I could have been watching it the whole time, really.
Yeah, same. But I mean, I got my notes up here, so it is what it is. But
Yeah,
I
no, I
mean,
would have reacted to it.
yeah, I mean Isaac scoring, Ayari scoring for Sweden, and I
Mm.
mean Rebkick. I don't know how to say his name, but Tunisia getting one goal back. I mean, to be honest, I expected Sweden to win that one. It's not exactly a super surprising result so far, but I mean, maybe the second half will change things. But who knows? Because
Mm.
realistically, that will not be on this podcast because we can't write the future just yet.
No.
Um, but I mean, look, there's been lots of games. I mean, out of these lot, what's been your favourite so far?
Favourite game?
Yeah.
Probably the 2-1 last night, to be honest. Scotland and the Australia game.
I know those are
I
my
think,
two personals as well. I think
I think
they were just exciting.
well, they were evenly matched. They were exciting. They both had sort of different scenarios brewing throughout the whole game. Some real moments of quality, um, and the opposite.
Mm.
And apart from that, the games haven't. I don't think the tournament's really. I think you need Spain, France, England to all start playing, and that's when this tournament's going to really kick off. But
Yeah.
I think with some of the performances of these teams, even if they've lost, I think there's a real positivity going forward, and I think there'll be some really good games.
I mean, we saw last year in the last World Cup, Argentina lost
Mm,
their opening game to Saudi and they won the whole tournament.
yeah,
So
which
it's
is why I don't think any team who's lost should panic.
no,
Uh,
just recover,
'Cause
sit back, and get back in the game.
and also when you look at it, when you look at PSG, how they build up into the Champions League to get to the final, you do not need to. You need to get out of the group, but you don't need to worry because you will start playing better as you get more comfortable, acclimatized. So I think all these teams, win or lose, they'll be fine.
Mm. No, I agree. I do think that there's a
Or
lot.
some won't,
Some
but
won't,
some will.
some won't, but some at least they'll make it interesting. And I think lots of teams are going to grow into this tournament as things progress. And we've got to remember, it's still early days. I mean, the tournament's only been going on for 4 days, 5 days now. Like we're really like early doors of this, and there's a lot of games left to play, and there's a lot of drama left to unfold.
Mm.
But I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be quite good. But I mean, we'll end it on this. We've got groups G to L coming up this week from today till Thursday. Today being Monday, obviously.
Hmm.
Not obviously, but I'm letting the people know. What fixtures are you looking forward to? What is the one fixture you're not missing this week?
Well, naturally it's England.
You
Um,
got
but I won't be boring, and I'll mention another. I am very interested in France Senegal because I think it'd be a good game. I'm interested to see how Norway and Argentina play because Norway being the new boys, Argentina being the reigning champs. Um, and I think a game like Belgium Egypt could be very interesting because I don't think
mm,
either team are particularly the best they could be, or the golden generation sort of past. But yeah, I think we're really going to see, you know, okay, I don't think Spain have a representative fixture that we can really draw off.
No thoughts on Capo Verde getting the one up on them?
They might get a goal, and to be honest with you, it might be a good omen if they lose it,
Yeah,
considering the last tournament.
considering the last tournament, it might be good if they lose the first game. Um, but no, I do agree with you. Obviously, the main fixture that I guess we're both looking forward to is obviously England Croatia on Wednesday night. But I won't be boring, and I do think actually Saudi Arabia Uruguay is probably one that could be quite interesting, as well as
Could be.
Iraq Norway. Norway being the new boys coming into this. I
Mm,
do think I'm really curious to see the Odegaard Haaland full force link up play, if that
mm.
even exists. But I'm curious. They've piqued my interest. So I think that's. I mean, France Senegal is obviously going to be a game and a half.
Front Senegal is going to be the best.
It's going to be the
I
best
mean,
one of
I
those
mean,
groups.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if Senegal won
I kind of hope Senegal win. Actually, I want Senegal to win. I don't just hope.
because
I
France,
I'm actively rooting for Senegal to beat
because
the absolute brakes off France.
I think France missed the trick not changing their manager after the last Euros.
Yeah,
I
I
think I
think
think
so.
Deschamps. I mean, they looked withered and tired at the last Euros,
Mm.
and I think Deschamps could have definitely gone in. They stuck with him. Okay, he's gotten to the last two World Cup finals, so you never know. But
You never know, but I mean, we're gonna
this will
find
be his
out.
last tournament
This will
anyway.
100%, but we're gonna find out if he can, get another one with France, or whether it's gonna be misery and tears for him once again. Hopefully, once again, that he is crying on the sidelines. Um, can't say that I'm not biased. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, lots of stuff to look forward to. But we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of The Backseat Manager. Available now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I think YouTube as well, if YouTube's decided to play ball, because it wasn't earlier, but we'll have to double check that. Um, but yeah, on multiple viewing platforms. How do you think of that?
Oh. Well, I can't wait till in 5 years' time when this is a platinum multi-award winning podcast and we can look back at these episodes and think, wow, these were pretty bad.
Hey, look,
If these are if these are the bad standard podcasts, John, we're doing pretty well.
these are the glory days, my friend. These are the glory days, and we're just
These are
living
the
it.
glory days. Exactly. Got to be disciplined.